Sarah has been at her company for 4 years. Good performer. Solid reviews. Never had an issue with her manager. Then 6 months ago, the company rolled out AI tools across the department. And her manager changed. Suddenly every decision Sarah made was questioned. Every project needed 3 rounds of approval instead of 1. Her manager started asking for documentation on things that used to be trusted. Sarah told me, "I don't know if I'm being managed." Or audition for replacement. If you're reporting to a difficult leader right now, and you're also afraid of being replaced by AI, that's not just stress. That's a different level of pressure. You're not imagining the tension. You're not overreacting. Your nervous system is doing its job, trying to keep you safe in a workplace that suddenly feels unpredictable. Let's talk about how to navigate this without losing yourself. Here's what's happening right now and why this conversation matters today. Companies are adopting AI faster than they're training people to use it. Leadership is under pressure to show results: cost savings, efficiency gains, headcount reductions. And when leaders feel that pressure, they don't become more collaborative. They become more controlling. They tighten their grip. They micromanage. They question your decisions. They scrutinize your output. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because they feel threatened. And here's where the trap forms. Sarah started over-explaining every email. She started working weekends to prove she was still valuable. She stopped proposing new ideas because she didn't want to set her manager off. You start over-explaining. You start overworking. You start over-accommodating. You start shrinking your voice. You stop doing your best work and start doing the work that feels safest. This is how talented people disappear inside organizations. I want you to hear this clearly. You are not the problem. You're responding to a system that's sending mixed signals. Be innovative but don't make mistakes. Take initiative but don't challenge me. Use AI but don't outshine me. You're not broken. The environment is inconsistent. And inconsistent environments don't bring out the best in people. They bring out the safest version of people. So let's talk about how to stay grounded and effective even with a difficult leader. Sarah didn't quit. She didn't explode. She made a few small shifts that changed everything. First, she stopped over-explaining. Instead of long, anxious emails trying to justify every decision, she started using what I call boundary scripts. These aren't confrontational. They're clarifying. Here's what I can deliver by Friday. Here's what I need to complete this. Here's the decision I need from you. Short. Clear. No apologies. Second, she gave her manager structure. Difficult leaders respond better to frameworks than feelings. So instead of saying, "I'm worried about the timeline and I think we need to discuss," she started saying, "Here's the context. Here's the decision we need to make. Here's the impact if we don't." Context, decision, impact. Her manager could follow that. It removed the ambiguity. Third, she stayed visible without overexposing herself. Visibility is not the same as vulnerability. She shared outcomes, not emotions. She shared systems, not struggles. She shared progress, not panic. Her manager got updates. But Sarah kept her internal process to herself. And finally, she started documenting her value. Not to prove anything to her manager. To protect herself if things shifted. She tracked her wins, her metrics, her workload consolidation, how she was using AI to improve output. This wasn't paranoia. This was preparation. Because the more you document, the more leverage you have whether you're negotiating internally or interviewing externally. Now I know some of you are thinking, what if the strategies don't work? What if my leader doesn't change? Then you need to ask yourself a different question. Am I staying because this is the right move? Or because I'm afraid? Because here's the truth, not every toxic situation is fixable. Not every difficult leader is worth the energy. If you've tried boundaries, you've tried structure, you've tried visibility, and you're still shrinking, that's not a you problem. That's a them problem. And sometimes the most powerful move isn't managing up. It's managing out. You're allowed to leave. You're allowed to choose environments that don't make you question your worth daily. That's not quitting. That's clarity. But whether you stay or go, here's what I want you to remember. You don't have to absorb your leader's anxiety. You don't have to match their urgency. You don't have to carry their insecurity. You are allowed to protect your energy. You are allowed to set boundaries. You are allowed to stay grounded even when the environment isn't. And the more grounded you are, the more irreplaceable you become. Because the skills you're building right now, navigating ambiguity, managing difficult dynamics, using AI while staying human, those outlast any single leader. You're not just surviving this moment. You're building a career that can weather any environment. If you're navigating a difficult leader right now, you're not alone. Millions of professionals are trying to stay steady in workplaces that feel like they're shifting under their feet. You deserve clarity. You deserve stability. You deserve leadership that doesn't make you question your worth. Drop a comment and tell me, what's the hardest part of managing up right now? I'm reading every single one. Subscribe. Let's keep talking. You're not a line item. You're the talent.